Good morning, everybody. It is day 2 of our Washington adventure. I'm just kind of making a tight adjustment to my camera here. There we go. I was noticing that my camera was slipping in the L bracket. We've got some light happening on the horizon here, which is gorgeous. I didn't actually think this was going to happen. So, real quick, this is just an image that I'm trying to capture, show you guys what I'm seeing out on the horizon here. If you guys can kind of see right now, we are starting to get some nice color in the sky. I didn't think this was going to happen. Little context, we are out at Lake Crescent right now. And if you look just here, and if you look just on my monitor here, it might be kind of hard to see. Yeah, it's not exposing for it. But there's a small bank of clouds out in the distance, and I am just trying to capture that image. Ooh. Just looking at this the shot of my wide angle right now. This is actually looking really nice right here. I might slap this wide angle on really quick to capture this shot. Close enough to Canada that I was able to pick up a classic rock station coming out of either Vancouver or Victoria. It would probably a repeat out of Vancouver because it said it was out of Vancouver. So that's really cool. Now that the sun's starting to come up, we're starting to get a little bit of motion on the lake. It's still really beautiful reflection, but just a little bit of motion here with possibly a little bit of morning breeze. Out on the horizon out there, we've got this bank of really, really low-hanging cloud, and I was trying to figure out a way to use that in an image, and I think I managed to make it work. I've shot this scene a few different ways. I started out this morning shooting a panoramic. I shot a couple of panoramics. I don't think either of those are really all that good. The first one's not for sure because I was shooting on auto ISO by accident because I'd left this on my video capture settings last night. And mosquitoes are out, and I screwed that up because it was on ISO 12,800, which is way too high. And then the second time I had it down to ISO 100, but I bumped my shutter speed up to 3.2 seconds, and that just seems too high to me. My shadows were exposed beautifully, but I don't think I got good exposure in the highlights. I may be able to rescue in post-production, but I don't have high hopes. And then the colors started happening, so really quickly I put on my 18-130 using the color in the sky and in the reflection of the water kind of as leading lines. You couldn't really see the foreground or the background out there with these clouds very well, but then I put on my 70-200 here and framed up a vertical composition with those clouds kind of as the main subject. Positioned to take advantage of some of the morning light that was there. So one of those has got to turn out, right? A bit of a chaotic morning here, but not knowing the area, I feel very lucky that I was able to even find a spot like this. So I think we might wait out here just a little bit longer, see what happens when the sun comes up. It is starting to rise behind us. I think we still have probably about an hour or two before it actually does crest the mountain peaks here. I'm just wanting to see if I can get any kind of light on these mountains here. Hopefully it stays calm and quiet in the water. The only thing that I think could really mess it up is if a trout jumps up and ruins the reflection. So managed to get some sleep last night. That felt really good. It's surprising how well I slept because I could hear cars going by on the highway next to the campground, and people were still up and about, but I was dead tired. So managed to get some solid sleep. So I think we're gonna wait out here just a little bit longer, see what kind of other images we can get. I'm seeing some morning kind of cloud or mist kind of forming out over there near that cloud bank, so I may capture an image of that. And just wait and see if the rising sun paints these hills with some light. So fingers crossed. And then later on today, we're gonna head up to a waterfall. That is my plan. And then from there, we'll just see what happens. So as the sun is coming up, we are starting to lose our reflection here. The morning breeze is starting to kick in. But I'm glad we were able to take advantage of that while we had it. And pretty good way to start off day number 2 out here in Washington State. So I think as much as I kind of want to see what the morning light does to these mountains here without the reflection, it's not really working. So I'm gonna put the camera away and we're gonna jump back in the car, warm up because it's still pretty chilly right now. And I think we're gonna head out, go see if we can find a hiking trail and go see if we can find that waterfall that I've been talking about. So yeah, getting really chilly, but a couple of solid images out of this morning for sure. So I hope you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully the mic is just mostly picking my voice up and only getting some of the ambience from the falls, but I told you guys we were gonna come to a waterfall and we've got a waterfall. This is called Marimere Fall. It wasn't too far, about a half mile in, I think, maybe 3/4 of a mile of a hike. And it is just gorgeous. And, you know, honestly, I don't know what more I could say, to be perfectly honest, because it's a gorgeous scene. We've got this waterfall coming off of the top of the cliff right here, and it's cascading down. And we've got some logs and debris kind of taking up parts of the image here. In fact, I'm just going to pop up the image that I've got framed up right now, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about instead of just me trying to rambly describe it without you guys actually seeing it. So, image. There we go. So, as you guys can see, we've got the falls on the left-hand side, kind of taking up that top left to mid-left section. Then we've got the pool and some of the fallen logs down there in the bottom. And then we've got this other log that's just leaning up against the side of the cliff here. And it's a little farther to the right than I'd like. It's taking up, it's a little too close to the edge of the frame than I would like. However, I tried panning over a little bit to try and make that less right leaning, and it wasn't working with the falls. So I just compromised, and I've got that log on the far right of the frame, and I've got some of the foreground here that honestly I think I'm going to crop out because it's a little bit distracting. It's a little bit bland to the image. I think either a 4:3 or a 4:5 image is really going to work for this particular scene. Settings wise, I'm at F10. I really don't care about the foreground too much, but just have it, you know, F10, pretty decent compromise for depth of field here. Just going to kick in my live view real quick to see what I'm doing. And at 1 second, I'm getting a pretty decent exposure. It's a little far to the right of my histogram, or to the left of my histogram actually. So I'm going to up that. We are now at 1.3 seconds shutter speed. And that should be plenty slow enough to give me some blur in the water, but still give me some detail behind the falls, because I don't want that to just be missed. I want some detail in the falls and some of the rock behind the water. Got a little bit of a breeze here, but we're pretty enclosed, so I'm not too worried about much motion blur in some of the leaves. I'm just gonna kind of wait for this to die down a little bit, and some of that motion is just caused by the falls itself. But just a gorgeous scene. I've been wanting to get to a waterfall. That was a high priority on this trip. We don't really have waterfalls. Sorry guys, my nose is really itchy. We don't really have waterfalls in Colorado, at least nowhere that I've been. So, and you know, in the Pacific Northwest, waterfalls I feel like are everywhere, at least on the west side of the Pacific Northwest. So, got a waterfall. Hopefully we can get another one in this trip, because I'd hate to just do one and be done. So, just gonna take this image here. I'm on a 10-second timer, just to eliminate any camera shake. Again, F10, 1.3 seconds, and ISO 100. And actually, I'm going to darken this down to just be 1 second, because I feel like I was getting just a little overexposed in some of my highlight areas. So I'm going to go to 1 second here. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'm liking 1 second a little bit better. We were having a little bit overexposed on some of the top part of the falls, and 1 second was much better. So, wide shot in the bag. I'm going to try and zoom in here and get a more detailed shot of the falls here, and I'll check back in with you guys in just a second. So I've put the long lens on, and I've just been playing around, zooming in to the falls themselves and getting some more abstract shots. And I think I've gotten a couple, and I've done an experiment. This is something that I saw on YouTube, another photographer doing. I don't remember who, I apologize. But he actually shot everything horizontal, so normal. And so he shot everything horizontal, but then he was moving the camera just progressively down the image. So it's creating a vertical panorama. So I thought that could be cool. That could be something. because I didn't, really want to, I wasn't getting the right angle on that for my 18 to 135. And this zooms in just a little bit too far, but I thought, why not have a play with creating a vertical panorama for a scene like this? So that'll be a stitch of 4 images? 4, probably 5, I can't remember. But hopefully that turns out pretty good. And then I've just been in portrait orientation, zoomed in, and just getting in on some of the lips and some of the cracks in the waterfall. And just kind of with the same settings, f10, 1 second, ISO 100. One of my last shots, I bumped my shutter speed down to about 0.8 seconds and went with an aperture of f8, see if I can increase the sharpness a little bit. Looking on the screen, I can't really tell a difference. I have to get it back in the computer to take a look. But just a gorgeous way to spend our morning. I'll tell you guys though, I'm starting to get kind of hungry. I've got snacks with me, but what I don't have with me is coffee. I need some caffeine. So we might hike the rest of this trail, head back down, and then we might head back to Port Angeles, or Port Angeles. I can't remember if it's Port Angeles or Port Angeles. I think it's Port Angeles. That's beside the point. Head back in. We'll go get some coffee. Maybe get some more appropriate breakfast than just some granola bars and Nutrigrain bars. And just decide where we're gonna go from here. We'll probably go try and find some more trails. I need to gas up my rental. And yeah, so we're gonna pack up here, head back to the car, and just go from there because caffeine. Caffeine's a priority right now. So guys, I'm ending today's video kind of on a low note. We weren't really able to find much more that I felt was interesting to photograph, so I just decided to head back to my campsite. I've got another MRE. I can't really call it cooking up, but preparing itself. I've added the hot water on that I boiled on my solo stove. That thing's pretty cool, by the way. We've got some spicy chicken curry, and I am looking forward to eating that. I think I'm going to crash early again tonight. I mean, I am trying to decide what to do about tomorrow. Part of me wants to go back to Crescent Beach and photograph that. I don't know if it's a sea stack or what that is exactly. Part of me wants to go back to that and film it at sunrise and get a photograph at sunrise. But part of me also wants to head out to Quinault, which is a 2 hour 45-minute haul. So that would be a full day just to get out there. So I'm not sure what to do. If I go out to the sea stack, it is an hour and a half to get there, and it'd be a pretty cool image. But if I go out to Quinault, I might get more than one image, and that's my hang up with going back out to the sea stack, is that could only turn out to be just a one image scene, and I don't know if I want to drive all the way back up to the north end of the peninsula just for one image, when if I put in a little more drive time, I could find a few more images and maybe get some hiking into like the lake area and maybe get some river images. So I don't know. I'm gonna think about it while I eat, and you guys will find out in the next video. So until next time, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Kind of all over the place, I know, but hey, that's kind of how it goes when you're exploring a new location. So yeah, until next time, I hope you all have a good adventure, and I will see you out on the trail.